Hey, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday care people. It's your boy, the Big Canucker, and you'll see here that I just went to reach for my glasses, which I don't have on today because I'm trying out a brand new ring light, and I just wanted to try it out, see if I get a little bit better videos here. And I've noticed here I have my glasses on. I've got two great big alien eyes in the reflection of my glasses, so I haven't had a way to figure that out yet. I'll have to look up some stuff on YouTube and see if I can get away with using this ring light without getting the big old raccoon eyes. But in the meantime, let's talk about something that I just got brand new. Actually, not brand new. I ended up doing a little bit of a horse trading with a gentleman by the name of Robbie out of Calgary. And what a hell of a guy. Excellent fellow to do a deal with. And I ended up trading my Benchmade bug out for something that I think is an excellent EDC knife. It is the Spyderco Native Chief, and this happens to be the carbon fiber sprint run with the S90V, and I gotta say, this is a hell of a knife. Let's go to the tabletop and we will check it out. But before we do that, please don't forget to hit the old subscribe button, as well as mash that notification in order to see any other stuff that I end up putting out, as well as if you feel that I've earned it, give me the thumbs up. All right, so let's go to the old tabletop and let's have a look at this at a little closer view. So it is here. It is the Spyderco Native 5 or Native Chief in the carbon fiber S90V, and I got to say, this is an absolute excellent knife. And it is on the bigger side too, as well. Just to give you some comparisons, we will put something here, which is one of my favorite all-time EDCs, which is the Sage 1. As you can see, it dwarfs the Sage 1. And of course, I've got another one here that I absolutely love, that I do not carry very much, but I would like to. The good old Danger Pickle. And you can see that it just blows that away. Now, if you're looking at some kind of something that's a little bit bigger in that kind of range, here is a Police, and you can see that the Police does make that look a little bit tiny, and that's really hard to do because this Native Chief is quite a big knife, but this Police 4 is an absolute monster. It's a pocket machete, that's for sure. Now, you've got yourself a 4.1 inch blade on this Native Chief, and it is an excellent blade because it does have the S90V. So let's go over some of the stats here. As you can see, I've got my Band-Aid on, which is Troll's Band-Aid, because this Native kind of bit me here. That's why I'm reshooting this, because damn it, I hate getting blood inside videos. All right, so we're going to put our glasses back on, and let's go over some of the specs. So the overall length is 9.1 inches. Giving you a really quite big knife. When you close it up, you're going to get yourself 5 inches here, and with a blade thickness of 3.2 millimeters. Now, this blade is on the kind of the thinner side here because it's got what's called a distal taper, and that means that it tapers from the sideways, it tapers from this way, and always it tapers down to a really fine point. Now, this here is probably one of the little knocks I have on there, but we'll kind of get to that a little bit later on in the video. You've got yourself a 4-way carry, left and right, and tip up, tip down too as well. And you've got yourself a spoon clip. Some people here wish this thing had the wire clip. Hey, I don't mind this clip here at all. I think it looks excellent. The only one I don't like is the painted one. These clear ones, or these brushed shiny ones, I think they're excellent in their own right. They hold this knife into my pocket so well, and that's the main thing. And they don't give a whole lot of hot spot on this particular model too as well. Now, the blade length here is 4.1 inches, which is in some jurisdictions absolutely illegal. Now, the 0.1 inch, depending upon if the cop likes you or not, you can get away with it. But most times, if you're 4-inch legal limit, you're going to get yourself either confiscated knife or get yourself a ticket or appear before a judge somehow. Now, the blade length, or the edge length, is 3.6 inches, and that's because you've got yourself a really excellent 50-50 choil in here when you really need to choke up on this. Because it is such a big knife, I like the fact that I would sacrifice a little bit of edge length just to get that more control with that 50-50 choil. Now, let's just see here. Now, the handle is made of carbon fiber. It is a backlock, a mid-backlock, and it does have CPM S90V steel, which is absolutely fantastic. This is the first time that I've had S90V steel, and I'm loving it so far. Now the entire weight on this is 3.7 ounces, so it carries like a much smaller knife. Your clip position, like I said, is ambidextrous and left and right, and your grind is fully flat. And it is an excellent knife for doing cardboard. Now, the gentleman that I ended up purchasing this from said that's what he used it for. So he used it for breaking down cardboard boxes at work, and you can tell that this thing has not been used or abused at all. And when I got when I got the blade, the edge was a little bit worn. I mean, it was still an excellent user edge on it, of course, but I like carrying things that are so sharp they can cut time and space. And 10 minutes on the KME and a little bit of stropping, and that's how this edge is. It is really sticky sharp. And I don't know if that's something to do with S90V steel with the big carbides in it or anything like that, or just the fact that I only went to 1500 grit on this. I didn't go up higher to get a mirror edge. It is really sticky sharp, and it's shaving sharp, bordering on hair whittling sharp, and it was not very much time on my KME to get it that way at all. Now, some of the other pluses on this knife are the fact that you're going to get yourself really excellent materials with the carbon fiber as well as the S90V. And now the carbon fiber is full carbon fiber. There is no laminate or anything like that. And a lot of people, I'm not sure how it comes here on to this camera, but if you look online, these look very similar, the laminate peel ply and the full carbon fiber in the picture. But when you get this knife and you put it in your hand and you look at it really close up, it is really excellent carbon fiber. Now, the overall fit and finish on this knife was tremendously good. Now, I'm not sure if that's because it is made in Golden, Colorado, or if it's just this knife in particular, but the centering on here was absolutely bang on. There was no left or right bias. Everything was extremely tight. Now, one thing here with this back lock here, that's where your fit and finish, I think, is going to really show if your factory is up to standards. Now, there was no gaps in here. It's all right along the entire bit. Now, from just eyeballing it, it looks perfectly smooth, but you can feel ever so slightly a ridge there. Now, will that matter? I don't know. It's not extremely noticeable on your thumb pad, but when you do get your fingernail in there, you can feel it a little bit. And perhaps just a little bit more grinding might have been in order. And the other thing here that really kind of bugged me is the fact that this spider hole and this ricasso edge are so darn sharp. I just kind of wish that after they cut this spider hole and they do some of this kind of shaping to the blade, before they put even after they put the jimping in there, is run it through a rock tumbler just to break those edges up just a little bit. Now, if anybody's familiar with the Spyderco Southern, that edge is it's tumbled and then it's polished, and it puts a excellent finish on that blade. Here the spine being really sharp, that doesn't bother me at all. It's just mostly where your fingers are going to be touching all the time, and I can say that this spider hole and this ricasso here are sharp enough that you can shave wood with it. And if your back lock, if your back of your spine of your blade is not there to hit fire steel and create a spark, your spider hole and your ricasso certainly will, because they are that sharp. Now, the edges here too on the carbon fiber are straight, and they're not super sharp. I am going to probably take a little bit of 2000 grit sandpaper and just run it along the edges of everything, just to kind of break that up a little bit. I think it'll make the ergonomics on here just slightly a little bit better, but the ergonomics on here are really great to begin with. Now, this knife here, I think it's around the 43rd or 45th iteration of this, 244. So I think this is the 44th iteration of the Native Chief since it came out way back many years ago. And what they wanted to do with this overall design is they wanted to kind of get rid of the spider hump in a design, and that does that. It just flows so beautifully right to the tip. I think this is a really good looking knife just from an aesthetics purpose. Some knives you get and you look at them, oh my goodness, what alien designed these? You put them in your hand and you're like, oh wow, it works excellent. This knife is, to me, very pleasing to the eye. the point, goes right down to such an excellent fine point that is excellent for, really, really fine, delicate work. And this S90V will hold an edge for absolute ever. Now, I did take this edge and I did stab it into a bunch of ice, and I was a little bit worried about the edge. I went into the ice probably 4 or 5 times just to break up some ice. You get some ice in a cooler and it'll kind of freeze and thaw, thaw and freeze, and then it gets, really kind of those chunks, large chunks of ice. Well, I just decided to give it a couple of stabs in there to break up this ice, and I was a little bit worried about it. It did fine. There's no issues, but with this still taper, which basically means that the knife tapers down in all directions. Right from here, it goes down to a point. Right from here, it goes down to a point. And it's such a really fine tipped point. I don't think you're going to be using this knife to be, stabbing and, picking and prying wood, but it may take it. The S90V has been known to be chippy in the past if it doesn't have the right heat treat, but I think Spyderco has got this heat treat bang on, because it's so far cutting through everything that I've put this through. The edge is held up beautifully well. This is, I think, close to becoming my absolute favorite steel, this S90V, and we'll find out in the time to come if I have to sharpen this in the next 6 months, put it on the KME. We'll find out. I'll do a long-term review on this. So, would I recommend this knife? Absolutely. You are getting yourself such an excellent knife, and it's a sprint run. Now, the price of this here in the States is around $249. In Canada, it's $339, and you are getting yourself an excellent, excellent big knife that carries like a small knife, a tremendous EDC blade, and the only real big knock I have on it is I wish the back lock was a little smoother. See, when you drop it, it kind of hangs there. You got to shake her down. Now, maybe that'll be, the carbon fiber or the washers will kind of lighten up over a little bit, and then it'll become a little bit more broken in, because you've got something like this one here, which is the Spyderco 4. And you can see how that just drops, just like nothing. I kind of wish that this would kind of do the same thing. It just seems like this spring inside there is just a little bit tighter than what I would like it to be. And the other thing is, when you get it close to the end here, it's got a spring on it that will just kind of, that a little bit. I wish it would have lightened up a little bit, because that's what actually bit me here, is I had my finger in there and I wasn't expecting it to close, and it snapped down on there, and it's so sharp that it bit right into my finger. So that's kind of my biggest knock on this thing here too as well. So thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you guys so much. Now, please, if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe, as well as give me a thumbs up. And if you want to purchase yourself one of these excellent native cheaps, don't forget to talk to my buddies over at Alberta Firearms. You've got Steven, you've got Matt out there, and you've got Dan. I couldn't think of Dan's name off the top of my head. I figured it was Dan, but I wanted to make sure. I'd rather look at that card than call him the wrong name. But thanks so much for stopping by, guys. I appreciate it so much. Please stay safe out there. Keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.